But like it's hard to explain.
Well, I mean, do you want to just talk about it? Because, like, let's be honest, this is going to come out next week. You're going to talk to them. A good amount of people are going to know what's going on, like the people that you're close with. And then,
Yeah.
like, you're going to end up talking about it in the next episode after that or after that. So, like, it's going to come up. Like, you want to just approach this head on?
I don't know, man. I feel weird.
I mean, because like,
Yeah.
but it's nothing to feel. You don't have to. I'm just saying. I'm here for you. We're just having a conversation. Like,
No, yeah,
we
of
can
course.
always edit it out if you don't feel good about it, and like,
Yeah, for sure.
but this is the space and the opportunity to just like, well, who cares about what other people are gonna think? Like, it's only about what you think, and like, you already know that you're jumping into something that's gonna be better for you in the long run anyway. So why not just be open about it? You know?
Yeah, you're not. I mean, you're not wrong, and we do have the option to always edit the stuff out. But yeah, like you know, just kind of up and quitting your job.
Mm-hmm. See, doesn't that feel good right there?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like we can talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Cryptically,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, you're right. Sometimes it is just better to face stuff head on, and that's kind of the balance that I'm still learning. Still a year later of figuring out like what is and isn't appropriate to talk about on here,
Yeah.
and like whether I'm ready for it or not, or it's just kind of a reflection of like, do I care what other people are
Mm-hmm.
gonna say about that decision when I'm the only one in my own shoes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this is about.
True.
I feel like that was a good segue into like now we could probably start the episode. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
well, so like knowing that you're going through this change, but you're facing it at a different outlook than you normally would. You know, like I feel like from an outside looking in at you, you've been very optimistic about this
we
change.
just gotta chill out, dude.
It's okay. This will be a better video to just listen to this week. Unless you want to watch me play with the dog. But
you're crazy.
I mean, like, you're going into this. Oh, it's a little bit different place than you were at the last time. You went from working to not working. And, like, I feel like you are very more optimistic this time. Where, as opposed to last time, it was kind of just like, I don't know. Do you want to? What's the difference for you? How do you feel different? Like going into this change in your life.
I feel like it's like you don't have to. I'm realizing that you don't have to have that mindset of like I have nothing. It's like you're focusing on. It's a good time to like reframe it and be like, what do I have? Like, you know what I mean? Regardless of finance or career or anything like that, like I have things that a lot of people, like friends and family and dogs and like basic health, whatever you know, basic things that a lot of people don't have. And it's a good time to like focus on like, okay, well, I may not have all these ducks in a row, but I do have like a lot to be grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think being in that state of mind is way healthier for advancing yourself and putting into better opportunities.
Yeah.
And it's not saying that like every moment is perfect and I'm just like super optimistic about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it doesn't help you to do anything that or to think in a way that says this has to be negative or this has to be irresponsible or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. I think a good way to look at it is like the conversation you had with my dad the other day. Because he's one of those people, like me and you had just finished talking about it, and he's one of those people that's just like, oh, what are you going to do now? And
Yeah.
even he was just like, you told him, and he was like, oh, you're a comedian, hey. You know? Like, that's like, you can't fear what other people are going to think of a decision that you make, because at the end of the day, it's your decision to make, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I feel like I've been there, where, like, at least relatively similar to what you mean, how you feel about that. Like, I've been jumping around a lot, like, in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finally kind of, like, stabilizing, like, what position I want to work in and stuff, and I've got that going. But, like, other than that, like, it's weird worrying about what other people are going to think of what I'm doing for a living. Like, they have to pay my bills or something, you know? And, like, going out and just, like, I'm happy and I'm taking care of, and I'm taking care of the people that I need to take care of and the things that I need to take care of. So why should I worry about what anybody else thinks, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the long run, that's not what anybody should be concerned about, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard, but it's not to say that in the moment it's, you know, every decision seems, or a lot of decisions can seem very reckless and from the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like I'm just one of those people who's just that, like, when one thing doesn't feel right, all the other stuff starts to feel, especially if it's taking up a good portion of your time.
Mm-hmm.
And you start looking at all the areas of your life where you're spending time.
Do you feel better now that you've cleared that space, kind of?
Yeah, absolutely. But it kind of just makes you more, I don't know, I feel like it makes me a little bit more comfortable with the fact of there's always going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Or like there's always going to be something to solve. I shouldn't phrase it like that, you know. It's more of like being like, okay, well, like, and I don't know the answer to this, but it's like, what's the worst problem? Like figuring out what's next, or is it just kind of like trying to get through the day knowing you're miserable? I think the one is better than the other, but it doesn't mean that you can just hop out and make a rash decision. Right?
I don't know. I don't know if I understand what you're saying.
It's like it's like, what's a worse problem to have? Is it that like I wake up and I dread going to work later? Or is it a worse problem to be like, okay, well, I don't have to go to work later, but I got to figure out what I'm going to do next?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that. I also...
And then once I solve that one, there's going to be something else that doesn't relate to that I'll have to solve elsewhere, you know?
Yeah.
It's just that just being okay with the fact that not everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah, kind of just trusting that you made the right decision and letting
Yeah,
things
I
happen.
guess. I don't know. Like,
I mean, I feel like that's the way you got to approach it. You just got to trust that you're doing the right thing. Otherwise, it's kind of like you are just going to be jumping back and forth. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, if you trust that this is the right thing to do, like, it's going to lead you into what you actually should be doing, you know? Everything's on purpose.
Yeah. I'm just like, all right, well, there's nothing I can do about that now, but, and now we move on to the next thing. Life is a series of those things versus getting caught up in, did I make the perfect decision? Should I overthink that? Should I look back on?
You want to talk about the concert?
Yeah, we can talk about the concert.
Yeah, that's a good thing to talk about.
Yeah.
What'd you think? What was your favorite part of Childish Gambino?
Oh, yeah, we saw Childish Gambino at the Barclays. It was very emotional for me.
I know. I
Yeah.
could tell. I was
Yeah.
happy for you though.
Yeah.
You looked like how I felt on Thursday when I was seeing
we can talk about both. Yeah, even I didn't go to the when I saw him when I was younger in 2019. It's still like one of probably the best concert I've ever been to, and I think I was thinking a lot about how much has changed in my life since then. Because in a weird way, like I think what I saw then was like the beginning of him knowing what like this tour is and why it's like you were there. Just visually, like there's so much, like so many people, like I don't know how he's making money on it if he's fronting you know what I mean? It's incredible, the technology and this stuff. But I think I just kind of came back to thinking of like how far I've come since then, and how it feels like in yeah, in today's day and age that like it's hard to like feel like you're making progress, but when you put it into like this different perspective and things that somehow don't relate in any way to that, you know what I mean? It's just music, or it's just a concert. But it makes you feel this thing that's like, I remember the way this made me feel when I was at this point in my life. And it was just like a lot, I think, overwhelming. And like then adding in like just what's going on in life now,
Yeah,
you know?
I feel you.
And it just kind of like, and that's what because I meant to say this to you earlier, but like Wednesday, after the concert, I just woke up and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what am I doing? You know, like I gotta figure some stuff out, and just kind of like going back into those simple things and feeling grateful for what you have then. Because that was like the last thing I wanted, was to like be at the concert and be thinking about, or really do anything, you know what I mean? Like hang out with your friends or do anything, and you're thinking about all these other problems that you have to solve. But then it's just like and then you're kind of almost like creating, because you're not enjoying the pleasurable time that you have. And then on top of that, it's not going to help you solve anything in whatever other area is kind of requiring attention.
Like just trying to be present, like in the moment, you know. I feel like you were very present at the concert.
I
I
sure.
think you took like 5 videos if I saw anything. Like I was on my phone way more than you were.
No, I didn't. I wasn't on my phone a lot.
You were vibing.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. I was in my element. Yeah, we had great seats.
Yeah,
the seats were great. It was a very like visual spectacle.
That's it. I feel like that's an important environment to be present in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
What did you think? Because
I was very, very present in it. Because I was like not the biggest. I thought there'd be a lot more casual fans, like how I am with Childish Gambino, and that place was full of diehard motherfuckers.
Yeah,
that was the loudest environment I have ever been in.
Yeah.
Especially when he wasn't even playing music; he was just getting his encore, and it was just getting louder.
Yeah,
and it was also awesome to see like his gratitude, like on stage, like when he got that encore there, you saw that moment. That was a very real moment where he like covered his face and was just like, damn.
Yeah,
like,
I was trying to stay in character.
Yeah, he was like, holy shit, like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
no, and you feel it, and like you feel like that, and I feel like everybody has like certain people who they feel like they've been on a journey with.
I went into that, and like especially because we took mushrooms, I was a little bit like nervous at the beginning, especially because like as to where you were very much in your element. That's how I felt on Thursday, being around a bunch of people that like Mike. I was like, ain't nobody here, like everybody's here to see him, nobody gives a fuck about me. And like as that was a little bit harder for me to deal with on Tuesday, because I wasn't like as into Childish Gambino, and I was kind of like everybody's gonna be like, fraud. But like, and like it wasn't like that at all, but it was very cool to see, because I was very I felt very aware. I tried to stay in the moment, and it was cool to see everybody taking like seeing your perspective, like watching you and like everybody else that was like very, very
there was a dude behind me who like knew every single song. Knew way more than he knew all the new ones and everything.
No, it was very cool. It was a very, very good concert visually, like from a visual standpoint, and just a performance. His energy on stage the whole time,
very
dancing the whole time,
with the crowd, like very much with the crowd. Like and therefore like the experience of like feeding off of the people who were there. And I think we got something special too, just because like it's New York, and he spent some time living there, and then like you just like, I don't know, like it's like I feel like I had this moment when I was there that made me feel like, what am I why am I looking for problems when like I get to do stuff like this, you know? Where like, and even if you just break it down to something as simple as like being able to see somebody you look up to, and like have that inspire you in other ways, the more that you can just kind of like relate that, we talked about it when we were there. Like imagine having like these thousands of people coming out to see you every night. How do you remain humble? How do you remain grateful? But then you look at your own life and you're like, I have these like, what somebody might call basic or common or even boring things, but that like ultimately that's what makes life so great, is that you can wake up and you can listen to any song you want to, or and
how do you feel when you look back on the videos that you see from the concert? Have you like looked at the videos?
I looked at some of them, but I didn't really like any of the time where I took a video. I feel like it wasn't that.
Do you feel anything when you look back at the videos though?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because like I've looking back at the videos from the Mike concert, like that shit makes me feel some type of way, but like in a very like grateful way, I guess. Because I find like you've seen Childish Gambino before, I've never seen Mike live before, so it was like very much like it was super cool to like finally check that off the list, and I feel like it helped me stay in a place of like gratitude. Like the last 2 weeks, as much as I've had going on, and like as much as is going on around me, I feel like I've been like very present and very grateful that like I'm getting to do those things. Like,
what did it feel like for you when you kind of like made that decision at the concert to be like, I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Oh,
like, everybody's here to see him.
Yeah, it was
not
cool.
me.
It was cool. I was
like how did that feel to kind of like embrace that? Because it's like I feel like we're fighting the person, or that feeling that you get at the concert, whether it's whatever it is, to let loose or whatever, is that same feeling that I think a lot of us deal with just in regular life, right?
Yeah. So like when I went to see Mike on Thursday, I was just like super just like I sung every fucking song, like every fucking lyric, and I didn't really care because I was just like in my element, and like I could tell that everybody else was also like doing the same thing, and it was just like it was weird because so like on Thursday I got to be a part of that. And on Tuesday, after I stopped caring, I got to witness that, like what that looks like.
Yeah.
A bunch of people like in their element, like because of an artist on stage jamming out and vibing to a song that makes you feel however it makes you feel, but like you guys all have that in common, and like I got to see that from the outside perspective. Whereas on Thursday, I very much got to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. And it's just like another thing to be grateful for, because then you get to see it from both sides, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like they were just like two very wide spectrum.
Yes, it was. When, like, Childish Gambino, how many people were in there? The place was like sold out.
There had to be like, I mean, I don't know. I'm just spitballing number like 30,000 people.
Yeah, and Mike was on a rooftop with like 5,000 other people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like very different environments, but like it's also
it doesn't. Yeah, the energy.
The energy doesn't change. You know what I mean? Like, it was cool to see.
Yeah, exactly. And then like, there's it's almost like that, because I wasn't with you at the concert, but that being able to accept that like, oh, it's not my night,
to
but
just
I can
like
enjoy
let go of that judgment. It's very freeing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so weird how like some days it's easier to get on track or back and forth, and other days like I don't know. Because it certainly wouldn't be like our first episode like that, where it was just like hard to get the wheels turning.
I feel
what about the better episodes that we've had, or the ones that flowed more freely, or whatever it was? What do you think it was about those that made that possible?
I think on those days it's something that like we could both come out and we're just like ready. I don't know if it's necessarily ready to have a conversation, but I think it's allowing everything to just like flow and like to just have conversation and not try and like force a topic or like avoid questions like that like don't seem to fit in, or you know what I mean? Like I feel like in those episodes what changes and what's not that there's not pauses and breaks in them, it's just that the extent of the conversation that we're having is just like very open, so like neither one of us is thinking about any reaction to it or how it might sound. It's kind of just like you're speaking your truth and you're like letting it go, and it's not easy to do that every single episode, you know what I mean? Like to bring that to be like actually I don't want to, like if we get onto the subject like I don't want to talk about this, I have to figure out a way to negate it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like
as opposed to just like letting it go and letting it flow, and like this is at the end of the day, like this podcast is just me and you talking. Whether or not people listen to it, this conversation is ours to have. So like if you just have the conversation and say what's on your mind and how you're feeling, because we've established that this is an open environment for both of us to talk, then like I think it comes off more freely, and when it comes off more freely, it's more authentic, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just the episodes come out on their own, because whether or not we have a topic aligned to it, like something gets brought up and it's a conversation that one of us is eager to have or is willing to have, then that person's going to talk very freely and openly about like whatever that topic might be. And I feel like sometimes the hard part is having both people talk, like open to talk about that. You know what I mean?
And like where the kind of like interviewer versus interviewee and who's...
Yeah, instead of doing, I feel like
Yeah.
when you go into it with that mindset, then it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a conversation. It's one person it's like one person trying to tee up questions and the other person trying to answer them, or like while that person's actually just trying to ask a question as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets like tricky on how the back and forth goes. I think when we just talk on those episodes,
Mm-hmm.
like those are the ones that like flow very, very well. I'm also glad that we're getting this out of the way right now, because like we'll put this episode out regardless, but it's good for us to have a fumble here and there, because it keeps us like next episode we're going to be more focused and a little bit more on track, and we have a guest next episode. So like
Yeah.
it's better that we just talk through this shit through right now and like
Yeah,
let
exactly.
it happen.
Yeah,
And
real
try and
time.
force something.
The real
you know what I
time
mean?
learning.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What are we even doing?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
are we?
Yeah, bro.
Where
I mean,
are
like,
we going?
we're trying to be podcasters, I feel like, a little bit, but at the same time, it is just us trying to have a conversation that we feel is effective and, like, helps us get something off of our chest, and, like, also helps somebody feel something that, like, that they can relate to that, so, like, it might make it easier for them, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like you just gotta let it loose, man. And if there's something that's really bothering you, like, or something that you're trying to like work through, like, this is very much a perfect space to do it. And not only does it like help you feel better when you talk through it, but at the same time, like, that's the stuff that's authentic and really helps somebody else. So like by you talking through something you wouldn't necessarily have a conversation about like any other time, but like because we use this space as a space to say like how you really feel, I feel like when you say it here, it makes it that much more relieving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
You know, like we both have had a couple moments like that on here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I definitely did, like back in January, like when I did those mushrooms, like I said some stuff on here that like was very much deep rooted that I needed to get off my chest, because like otherwise I'd still just be trying to hide it and live with it, like rather than just saying how I felt and like how like I had felt about myself because of what I was telling myself, you know. And like once I said that out loud and kind of let it go, like it doesn't bother me anymore, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Who I am, not what I was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like I said who I was out loud on the podcast, and from that time on, like that's who I was and this is who I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with saying like that's happened in the past. And that's a very freeing feeling, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I'm on a tangent.
No, I mean, no, I'm just thinking about what you were saying. That it's just like knowing the difference between
I think it comes back to
the
like,
person who sits here right now versus the person who...
Yeah, I have a very clear idea in my mind of who I want to be when we're sitting down doing this, and like that doesn't just include today. That means like a year down the road, 5 months, 5 years down the road. Like, you know what I mean? Like I know who I'm trying to be when I'm on here, and like, yeah, there's things that I'm still working on and I got to make them happen, but like I fully intend that one day I will be sitting here having a conversation with you, doing this podcast, and I'll be doing what I wanted to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've gotten to a point in my life, and maybe it helps with like, I kind of just trust that things are going to work out. And like I've really stopped I'm not worrying about how I look or how this is going to make other people feel about me, or like what I want that I don't have, and like a problem like we were talking about with problems that need to be solved. Like I kind of am just like this shit is going to work out, and it took a very long time to get here. I'm telling myself that and writing it in my journal that I just like I surrender to the flow of the universe every day for years, and like just letting it finally become true. But like I don't know, ever since I've stopped really trying to force things, like I'm making a lot of money doing exactly what I want to be doing. Like I am in a really, really healthy, strong relationship with the girl that I wanted to be in a relationship with. Like me and you are doing this more often than we're not. You know, like something that like we started off doing all the time and then slowed down, and it's had its ups and downs, but like I feel like we've been really dedicating a lot of time to this lately, and because we're doing that, like we are seeing analytically like the boost that it's getting from that. Like I don't know, I feel like just not I like spent so much time worried about problems too, man, like just trying to figure shit out, and like everything started to figure itself out when I just stopped and was more present with like holy shit, like this is happening to me. Like Desiree is a big part of that. Sometimes I look at her and I'm like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Like, you know, and I think it keeps me in a very clear mind state. Like, don't worry about what needs to be like I have a checklist of shit that needs to be done, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sitting there focusing on it all the time anymore like I used to. And I feel like that's been the big difference for me, and that's why everything's kind of just flowing.
Yeah, it's like you can't grasp onto and be grateful for what it is that's happening right now if you're caught up in why this isn't solved or why that isn't solved, or and there's like that great saying that's like it's like you have a problem, can you do something about it? Great, do something about it. Like if you don't, like if you can't do anything about it, then why?
Can I? It's so as a like I've been sober longer than you have, but like you're starting to get to like you haven't had a drink in a very long time.
Just does like a month, basically a month. Yeah.
But like that's all like most people don't go more than a couple of days without having just like one drink, whether they have a problem with drinking or not. Like most it's so socially acceptable to be like, yeah, I have like a drink every day. So for you to be to the point where you're like you're thinking about a lot more things than you were probably thinking about before, because like when I feel like when you're drinking, when you get to a thought loop that like bothers you and you start drinking, like it kind of goes away. It's like getting pushed away and you're not worrying about it, as opposed to when you're not drinking. I feel like when I first stopped at the beginning, I opened up a lot of bandwidth by not drinking, but I also brought in so many thoughts and like ideas that I was just like I got overwhelmed, and it became like now I'm very clearly overwhelmed, you know what I mean? Because I'm not drinking to suppress it, but like there's mad shit going on in here, and I like you kind of just have to like let the thoughts come and then table the ones that don't mean shit, and just like you're gonna have to clear some mental space for a little while now that like you're not like at the end of the day having a drink to relieve. Like if you have stress, you very much have real stress, you know what I mean, because you're not suppressing it with anything right now. So like it can be overwhelming, but like you're gonna get through it. You just need
of course,
like it's just I feel like it right now it's
creating healthier ways to cope with that stuff versus what you've been doing, whether it was like dangerous or volatile or not, you know. Like it still was there.
Like how much has the gym been helping you when you go to the gym in the morning since you're not drinking? Like
I feel like I have more productive days, and I'm creating that connection of trust with myself that I'm doing this thing that's not just for today me, but for me down the line.
Yeah.
And it helps me make other decisions throughout the day, I feel like. You know.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about that a little bit in the last episode, too. It's just like how sobriety like can help you get to a place that you wouldn't have gotten to without it. Like,
But I can never like make the excuse of like I'm hungover. I'm not gonna go.
yeah,
And like that also, like you said, it just gives you that. It's almost like realizing that you have that more bandwidth can be stressful.
mm-hmm.
You're realizing that, oh, I was suppressing it with this thing, and then that's not there to kind of like bring you that temporary comfort that you're used to, that kind of allows you to maybe put something to the side, but then like you realize like, oh, maybe I'm capable of a little bit more, but in a way that's overwhelming because now I don't have something else to lean on that's gonna kind of like make it acceptable for me to not follow through on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that double-edged sword. It's like being like, oh, when you're working all the time, you're like, God, I just wish I had some free time. And then like you get some time off or you leave the job or whatever it is, and you have that time now, and now all of a sudden it's overwhelming to have that much time to do what you want.
It's also overwhelming because you have that much time.
Exactly. Yeah, no,
I feel like that's
exactly
where you're
what I
at
mean.
right
and then,
now.
And then you feel guilty about like, why didn't I spend this time or that time, or I should be spending,
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of the things I talk about in my journal is kind of like feeling like you can never catch up because when you go to sit down and do something that is productive or pressing at that moment or whatever it is, or maybe it's not, you just know it's healthy for yourself or whatever, you're thinking about something else in a different category of your life that why am I not spending the time doing it on that? It's kind of like, oh, why am I sitting down to journal right now when I need to go sign up for health insurance? Or it's like, why am I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know that? Do you know that
Yeah,
feeling? Like,
yeah,
why am I,
100%.
or, why am I sitting down to podcast right now when I need to be looking for a job? Whatever that may be. It's like, whatever that other thing is, it's like you end up in these loops of like, why am I spending time doing this when that is more important? And if you're always kind of like replacing that with something, how are you going to be present?
I very much do that. Like, I was doing that when I was running all the time.
Yeah.
In the morning on the days when I wouldn't run, I'd be like, all right, I need to give myself a break. And then I'm telling myself in my head that what is a break? And
Yeah.
I should just be like sleeping. And then I'm like, I can't be sleeping. Like, there's things I need to do. And then I'm like, well, then read a book. And I'm like, but I can't read a book because if I'm reading a book, like, I might as well be running. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm trying to do something that's bettering myself.
Yeah, exactly. And then and then you're like, oh, on those days when I'm not gonna go and take care of my body, like what am I doing for my mind? Oh, but I'm working on my mind. But what about like my body is sitting here fucking rotting away? Like, what?
Yeah, bro.
Right?
Yeah,
that is a right. I write about that all the time.
Okay.
I write about that all the time, and I'm sure it's a mental diagnosis for it.
Yeah,
but
we both have that.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. I'm just like, why am I? Yeah.
Somebody that's been sober for like 5 years is listening to us right now. Like, they'll get there.
whatever it is, whatever it is. Yeah, but that. Yeah, exactly. Why am I walking the dog right now and I need to go grocery shopping or that? But it's like it can be a never-ending cycle. Why am I doing laundry right now when I need to clean the apartment or?
It's like you have a task list for yourself.
Yeah. How am I? Yeah. How am I
to organize by importance? Like,
but then like it almost feels like then the one thing you do flips to the bottom.
Yeah.
And everything else becomes more.
Yeah.
Like I need to get my oil changed, but I also need to like stretch my lower back out. Yeah. But so I need to go like drop my. That's why I like I think that's why I like tasks that give me a gap of space in between. So it's just like, okay, I got to go drop my car off, and then I can do yoga while my car's in the shop. And it'll be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that?
Yeah, I get you. I feel you.
Does that resonate with you at all?
Yeah, I feel you. Just trying to fill. And
when I get the right ratio right, I'm like, damn, I'm good.
Yeah,
but it doesn't happen often.
You feel great for the rest of the day, and then the next morning you're trying to chase that. I used to do that all the time. Like, when I first stopped drinking, my morning was very much broken up into those segments, and like, I had to leave the house by like in between 11 and 11:30 to get to work on time. So in my head, the whole morning was me trying to fit just the same things I do right now, which take me maybe 45 minutes if I do them all in a row. But I used to sit there and be like, I need to block this space out. So like I have to be up at 6:30 because by 6:50 I need to be in the cold shower, and then by like 7 I need to be on my first meditation, and I need to be reading by this time, and you block all the stuff into, and then you feel like you're chasing to try and fit things into the time slot that you want them to be in, instead of just fucking doing them and like letting it happen naturally.
Yeah.
And you spend that time just, I should be doing this, but I'm not, and like it just spirals and becomes a mess.
Yeah, exactly. And then like and then you let one thing, and then you're like, oh, all those other 5 things in the same category or whatever.
Because I didn't
now I
take a
can't do
cold
that.
shower between
Yeah.
7 and 7:05, like everything I did for the day is, wait,
Yeah.
what's the point?
Yeah, and I feel like working with the flexibility of those kind of like things and those moments allows you to then, I think, have more flexibility with those bigger things that you have no control over, and knowing that like, oh well, I can't go to the gym today because I gotta go to the vet, or you know what I mean. Like it's and now like, well, I'm just not a piece of shit because that has to get taken care of too.
Yeah.
You know. And yeah, and then like you kind of end up feeling like you're just chasing.
I think the name of this episode should be kind to yourself.
Yeah, just like chasing the day, and being okay with how much, like what time you spent. Yeah, like you said, it's like I could make a million of those examples of, you know what I mean? And that it's just like you're running around all day and you're like, I need to relax, and then you relax and you're like, how am I relaxed right now? And I still have to.
Yeah.
Why am I
relaxed?
editing this episode of the podcast when I need to go do this? Or
Yeah. My favorite is there's sometimes where like I'll lay down and I'm gonna take a nap right here, and then I have to put the calm app on so I can take a nap. Like I need somebody to tell me it's okay to take a nap. But like there'll be times when I'm just like laying on the couch and I'm kind of tired, and I'll start to close my eyes and I'm like, no, you need to get up and go do shit right now. And I force myself to do that, and I'm like, damn, that was the time to take a break, and the time when I needed somebody to tell me to take a break, I should have been doing something else.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a cycle,
Yeah, man.
a tornado cycle, and you're just trying to get caught up, and there's just like so many different things that need to get done or feel like they need to get done, or oh, I need to do this to have a good day, or if this happens, now it's a bad day, or if I can't get this portion of this thing done,
Yeah.
then I'm going to be behind tomorrow, and then why even do the thing tomorrow if now I'm a day behind, and then a week behind, and then you just end up in these it's like quicksand
Yeah.
of thoughts.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're trying to get caught up, and you're trying to prioritize the right thing, but then maybe you feel like you're neglecting something or somebody else.
Yeah.
There's always things popping out of nowhere, right? That need to be attended to or solved, or require your
But
attention.
that's where you got to just
The mindfulness.
you notice them, but then you just got to allow it to like come into place and not worry about don't try and force it. Just like let it happen. Like you're gonna take care of what needs to get taken care of. When you're forcing it, it's like when everything's going sporadic, and like that just causes more of that ruckus in your head. You know what I mean?
This guy knows what I'm talking about. The recipe for.
Shout out to Courtney, who was able to listen to the whole last episode and put pineapples. If you make it through this one, we'll be real proud of you.
Who knows? This one's gonna have a lot of cuts in it.
I feel like
we tapped into something there that, like,
Yeah, no, this
you're
was
trying to get at what's bothering you, and sometimes it's just not that clear,
Yeah,
and you have to fumble over your words to figure that out.
but be nice to yourself. It happens.
Yeah, man. It's hard though.
Yeah.
It's tough. be patient with yourself. I struggle with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, being able to, I'm stacking your days on top of mine, bro. You stack that up over weeks, I'm kicking your butt, dude. I've got 3 days in one day. Me, I'm doing 5 days I'm doing 5 days in one day. Do I go to sleep? Maybe. No. Add that up over weeks. I am absolutely destroying you.
I love the kid that redoes that video, and he's just like, and I'm kicking your butt, man. Now I'm kicking your butt.
It's like, why are you thinking about 2 million? Why are you not thinking about 20 million? Well, why are you not thinking about a gazillion trillion, brother?
Like, imagine if I had a day every minute.
Add that up over a day. I'm kicking your butt. Add that up over a week or a month. I'm absolutely destroying you. Oh, I'm jacked. I've built multiple small businesses.
It's his voice, man. It's his voice. You know who I'm
I
talking
know exactly
about.
who you're talking about. Yeah.
It's funny because the guy's kind of scrawny, so his comeback video seems like he's like insulted because the other guy's jacked.
He's mad funny. He's good. It's like his name's like rap name Fogel or something like that. I know exactly who you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, well, why are you not thinking about $1 trillion gazillion dollars? Why are you putting limits on?
Well, it is what it is, man. This is the episode. Listen to it or don't listen to it.
Yeah.
The next one, we have a guest. It'll be cool. Should we promo that a little bit?
That's up to you, man.
Well, I mean, like, it's your podcast too, dude.
I know. But I'm just saying if you want to reveal who's coming on the podcast yet, or do you want it to be a surprise?
By the time this comes out, like, we'll already have recorded the episode, so.
Probably, yeah.
Well, the day after we'll be recording it, so.
Yeah.
We have my lovely girlfriend Desiree will be on next week. She's the owner and
Proprietor?
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
That's the word that I was looking for.
Yes,
of Elixir
yes.
Wellness Cafe in Beacon. She also does hair and makeup. She's very interesting. She's very fun to talk to. She's very big into wellness, so right along the lines of the podcast. And then JP's gonna. What are you gonna do?
I mean, I'm gonna.
JP's gonna be the relationship guru next week.
Yeah. Me, the relationship guru. Yes, of course.
That's how he's gonna talk for the whole episode.
Yes. And how does that make you feel? No, I mean, I'm gonna. What's the word that they use for like the presidential debates?
Oh, a moderator?
Yeah. I don't know why I thought it was a different word though. Yeah, like it's almost like I kind of think we discussed that we're gonna like me and you will kind of interview her in terms of business and wellness and things of that nature, and then I'm gonna kind of like interview the both of you as a team. Is that kind of like what you're
As
right?
a team, yeah.
Right? That kind of
Sure.
know, whatever you want to.
Yeah, man.
I always bring everything into sports terms, you know.
I'm cool with that.
We just gotta like huddle up, and figure out what's in our playbook.
Yeah.
Draw it up on the whiteboard.
So
Yeah, that's exciting. That'll be exciting. Though. That'll be fun.
Yeah, interesting episode. We've never done anything like that before.
Yeah, but that's what we do, right? We're pushing the boundaries of something, I guess, right?
Yeah. For a podcast that gets 40 to 280 views per episode, we are out here just changing the game. You want to walk off camera? Because you said last week that I always walk off camera.
You always do,
wanna
but
walk off
it always looks good. Yeah, it always because it always like fades out as you're walking off. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanna?
No. Who thought we'd be here? Episode, what is this, 32 or 33?
This is 33.
33, episode 33. Happy birthday, Desiree. It was her 33rd birthday 2 days ago.
Wow.
And she actually listens, so she'll hear this.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Good walk off. Good walk off.
This episode of Who Thought We'd Be Here is brought to you by Joker Ink Apparel Decorating Company, your ultimate destination for screen printing, embroidery, and full-color digital printing. Whether it's bold apparel that makes heads turn or promotional swag that leaves a mark, we've got the expertise to make your vision come alive. And the best part, we handle orders from just one piece to a whopping 1 million. No project is too big or too small. With Joker Ink, your imagination is the limit. Our skilled team ensures every design pops with vibrancy, while our state-of-the-art technology guarantees precision and quality. Ready to make your brand unforgettable? Call us now at 845-863-3460 or visit jokerinc.com. That's JOKERINK.com. Joker Inc., where creativity meets limitless possibilities. Get noticed, get remembered. Contact Joker Inc. today at 845-863-3460 or visit www.jokerinc.com.
Don't work, I take a second to breathe, yeah. Breathe in, breathe out. Couple rain clouds ain't gonna get me down. I said, breathe in, breathe out. I'm getting back to me. All the things I do, all the things I say, all the times I took a chance, all of the mistakes I made.